Hi guys, welcome back to Drama. This is week 5. So this week I'd like you guys, I'm going to just again briefly talk about the warm-ups and then we'll move on to what I want you guys to develop script-wise, feeding off of the last few weeks. So in acting it's important to stay as fit and healthy as possible. I think people sometimes underestimate just how physically demanding it is to actually be an actor and being on stage several times a day in some cases. If you make it to a certain standard, you could be performing 3 shows a day. That can be quite a lot of physical strain, and if you're lucky enough to be filming for camera, you could be on set for 16 hours a day, which is quite a long day to be working, especially if it's physically demanding work, if you're playing a certain character that is physical. So I would always recommend trying to stay as active as possible. Go runs, stay healthy, stay fit, and continue the breath control exercises that we've been working on in the previous few weeks. So the hissing, the counting, so breathing in for 3, holding for 3 and just counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and so on. Okay, it's just something to keep your lung capacity expanding, keeps you ready to be performing as much as possible if necessary. Okay. Another wee exercise that I've not really mentioned in previous weeks that I do feel is important for your development in terms of acting on stage and delivering natural lines is doing a siren. This works on your pitch. Now pitch is important because you don't want to be on stage and performing every line in a monotone pitch. It would be very boring for any audience member to be listening to you delivering an emotional line but sounding the exact same throughout it. So to expand your pitch range, do a siren, which is simply just going up and down the scale, so go and so on. Sounds a bit funny, sounds a bit daft if you're doing it yourself in your room, but here we are trying it. It's all just to help you guys expand your potential when performing on stage, okay? Do the siren, sing a few songs that incorporate different pitches, okay? When You Wish Upon a Star, the Disney song, is often used as a warm-up exercise as it does include a range of pitch. So moving on from that, using the skills from the first few weeks and from last week's, I'd like you to incorporate a monologue into a scene. So it's not just the monologue this week, I'd like you to develop a scene that includes the monologue. Now it's up to you how it's incorporated. You can make the character be replying to another character, or you could be breaking the fourth wall, and what I mean by that is if you, as the character, are addressing the audience directly. And what I mean is the other characters on stage won't necessarily acknowledge what you're saying at that point. It's just to deliver the lines to the audience and then snap back into character or snap back into the interactions with the characters, I should say. Now, similar to the first week, develop an entire script. I know it sounds somewhat repetitive at this point, but develop an entire script around the previous scene in which you have incorporated the monologue. The reason why I'd like you to rewrite another script is we're building up to you filming this script in next week's drama exercise, and it should be a good final week for you guys to really express some creative ideas in terms of camera angles and stuff like that. In your script, include direction notes and character breakdowns for anyone that you might cast in it. Okay, it's important for any of your friends or family that pick up your script that you've written to know exactly what you're expecting from them. And that can be delivered through the notes that you've added. And in terms of character breakdowns, just include that at the start of your script. Just another wee page that has a brief summary of what you're expecting that character to be delivered as. An example, I done a play last year at Slab Boys where one character, the character notes would be geeky and quiet and quite introverted, and then another character's notes would be out there, somewhat annoying, a wee bit of a bully character. And that it's just little notes like that that give an actor picking up the script for the first time an understanding of, right, okay, this is how I'm going to deliver this character. If I'm to be a bully, I'm going to be just nasty in general. And it just gives that instant kind of reaction to picking up the script for the first time. Now, think about how, when you're adding your notes, think about how you would watch it if it was on TV, okay? So as I said, I want you guys to be potentially filming this on your phones or whatnot next week, and the best way in doing that is just to imagine how if you were watching it, how you would see it, okay? Now, always consider masking and other things like this. Now, what I mean by masking is, don't be delivering lines if a character is facing away from the camera. Set up the camera to a point that the actor is always seen. Nobody wants to be seeing the back of your head. It's basic stuff. It's the same if you're on stage. If you were performing a scene on stage, nobody wants you to be delivering lines downstage because, one, again, no one wants to see the back of your head, but two, it also means your dialogue is not going to be as clearly heard if you're directing it that way. And people up at the back of the auditorium can't really hear you that clearly. So cast your friends and family in preparation of filming this scene next week. Again, keep the scene short, no longer than 10 minutes, 4 to 5 scenes that all are relevant to each other. I want to see a monologue from the character that you would be playing in this instance, because at the end of the day, as much as we're focusing on writing and script work, it's for you to also develop as an actor as well. And next week I'll be discussing a few different camera angles, different filming techniques, and how you can create a short film simply using your phone. There are apps on it that allow you to edit scenes together quite easily, and I'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in this week, guys. I'll see you next week on the final week. Bye.